Hi, I'm Adam Gayton, and this is my review of Brutal Legend. It's been a long time waiting, but it's finally here after 4 years of development and several lawsuits trying to prevent this game from being released. Now, I'm usually very pessimistic with games, and Brutal Legend was another one of those games that I had a feeling would possibly be one of those looks great, sounds great, plays terrible games that are extremely overhyped. Well, I'm here to tell you that Brutal Legend is not one of those games. It's what's advertised, and so much more. Brutal Legend has you play through the story of Eddie Riggs, the world's greatest roadie, as he somehow finds himself in what seems to be a fantasy world completely designed to look like what could be called heavy metal heaven. And the world is designed perfectly to match that style. Everywhere you look, you'll see something that you can easily connect to heavy metal, and that includes both the visual design and sound design. Of course, you can't have a heavy metal themed world without a few heavy metal voices, and you get plenty of that in Brutal Legend. Of course, Eddie's voiced by none other than Jack Black, but that's not all you get. There are several cameos in the game by very popular and legendary metal figures, such as Rob Halford of Judas Priest, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, Lita Ford, and of course, Ozzy Osbourne.
It's about fucking time!
Thankfully, all the voice acting is actually pretty solid, and not phoned in as most celebrity voice acting tends to be in video games these days. Another solid addition to Brutal Legend is the soundtrack. The game features over 100 tracks from 75 different bands, all from different periods of heavy metal. You'll see older tracks from bands like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, and Motley Crue, and you also get tracks from today's bands such as Dragon Force, 3 Inches of Blood, and of course, with Jack Black as the lead, you'll get a couple Tenacious D tracks. The gameplay is pretty solid as well. You fight with a battle axe as your melee weapon and of course another axe, the guitar. By strumming your guitar, you cast several magical attacks such as shooting fire, lightning, or creating huge shockwaves that knock away your enemies. You also have special attacks that are activated by pressing a button combination in musical time, and that creates an awesome guitar solo. The most noteworthy attack is the Face Melter, and yes, it does exactly what it sounds like it does. Altogether, you get an entertaining battle system that also adds a real-time strategy element into it. You build merch towers to gain fans, which actually act as your cost to summon soldiers. The system is actually pretty fun and really gets going when you fight against opponents in the game's multiplayer mode. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Are there any flaws in the game? Of course there are. Story mode seems a little short, the side quests are extremely repetitive, the driving mechanics in the game are pretty standard, and they sometimes can be a little frustrating in tight spots. But the game is so much fun and so awesome, you really don't pay any attention to its flaws. With an awesome soundtrack, an awesome cast, and an awesome atmosphere, Brutal Legend is easy to give a 5-star rating and candidacy for Game of the Year. If you like heavy metal, you have to have this game. If you don't like heavy metal, or you don't really have an opinion on the genre, you still need to check out this game. It's freaking awesome.